Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Truss pitched the UK as a key ally in Europe in the fight against authoritarianism as she spoke with the key European leaders at a crunch summit in Prague this afternoon. Don't worry, it gets more interesting than this. The Prime Minister used a 5-minute speaking slot to stress the UK's commitment to Ukraine and to urge her fellow leaders to seek out a more resilient energy supply. Well, within the next hour or so, she's going to meet with French President Emmanuel Macron. And this, frankly, is where it all gets a bit tasty, because with the main focus now tackling the migrant crisis in the Channel, the talks could potentially be difficult after, during her leadership race, Truss said that the jury was out on whether Emmanuel Macron was a friend or a foe. But what is the future of UK-French relations? So I thought, why not? Let's just have it out. So joining me now is Marco Vincenzino, who's a geopolitical analyst. Thank you very much, Marco. Looking very suave, I must say that. Marco, do the French hate us?
No, I don't think so. I mean, geography dictates reality. Economic reality, diplomatic, security, political. So I think right now with the meeting that'll be taking place, or the meeting that has taken place today, it's a new injection of diplomatic energy, you can call it, much needed. And so obviously the Prime Minister at home had a difficult start domestically, but on the foreign policy front, there is an opportunity to break the ice. And it's tone. Tone is important because tone helps to set a new beginning in a way. But the substance of the relationship, many of the difficulties still remain. You have the bilateral French UK issues, but you have to, I think it's important to even think beyond that. It's the broader European UK issues. And in that sense, Macron is obviously one of the leading members. France and Germany have been the traditional leaders of Europe. But you also have new incoming leaders, such as, look at Giorgia Meloni from Italy. She's likely to become prime minister within the next month.
Just quickly on this. Yeah. I don't understand why it's even a question as to whether or not Emmanuel Macron is a friend or a foe. He's a massive foe. He stole millions of vaccines that were destined for the United Kingdom. Who knows how many people died as a result of that? That's actual potential British lives lost, potentially. He called Boris Johnson a knucklehead. He has not done anything, despite us paying millions of pounds to the French in terms of stopping people crossing the Channel. And he threatened to cut the power off on Jersey, for goodness sake. I mean, it's not very friendly, is it? With friends like those, you don't need enemies.
You need to manage it. And it's the reality. He has his domestic politics, and he's catering to that. Each leader has their own domestic politics. The rhetoric is quite effective. But today provides an opportunity to improve that rhetoric. Deep down inside, issues are not going to change. You have to manage them effectively. And that's what's required on both sides. If it's just one side, Macron himself, there'll be other European leaders who can try to make up for that in the sense of trying to broaden the dialogue between both sides. So once again, I'm not looking at UK, France. I think there's an opportunity for other European leaders to actually participate in this process, because the issues across the Channel are European-wide. France, obviously, is the first country across geography dictates. So the French input in that is enormous. It's massive. But it's important for Liz Truss to play a smart diplomatic game and to try to use her leverage with the other European leaders to try to, I'm not saying to isolate Macron, but she can make her case less difficult if she reaches out to the other European leaders and plays a smart diplomatic game.
Talking of playing smart diplomatic games, what's the view of Emmanuel Macron on the continent amongst other EU leaders? Is he actually a slick political operator? I mean, some people would say he allowed himself to get, as I would call it, mugged off by Vladimir Putin and his extraordinarily long table at the start of this Ukraine crisis. He doesn't appear to necessarily be a very, very great, clever political operator. Napoleon, he is not, is he? Although I suppose he is still alive.
No, he's not a Napoleon, but I think there's just two ways to look at it. Before the February 24th Russian of Ukraine, and then afterwards. Before, he also had an ally, and the strong ally he had was Angela Merkel. And Merkel gone from the and Olaf Scholz, a new prime minister, not as dominant or as much as a presence as Merkel was. I think the strong alliance with Merkel kind of puts him in a different position. Plus, in other countries, like in Italy, you may be a prime minister from a...
Sorry about this.
It's not particularly friendly. That's why I say leverage. She has to use a leverage intelligently with a new leader like Giorgia Meloni.
Good stuff, Marco. Thank you so much. Great to have you on the show. Always looking suave and ready to go.